Westfield Memorial Hospital provides high-quality health care to residents of Western New York, offering patients the most sophisticated medical advancements while keeping the ease and familiarity of a community hospital. Support for Chautauqua Sunrise has been provided by WRFA 107.9 FM, Jamestown's public radio station, streaming online 24/7 at WRFALP.com. Low power to the people. Chautauqua Sunrise is made possible by a grant from Fredonia Place, a continuing care retirement community providing dignity in a modern luxury environment. Meter's Restaurant, a family tradition for over 50 years in downtown Ripley, is a proud supporter of Chautauqua Sunrise. Meter's provides all-day dining, banquet services, and custom catering, specializing in pie. Funding for Chautauqua Sunrise is provided in part by the Chautauqua County Industrial Development Agency, with offices in Jamestown, Dunkirk, and Westfield, helping businesses to prosper throughout Chautauqua County. From supporting people with disabilities to enjoy great lives to providing health care services that are available to anyone, the Resource Center has been improving our county for more than 60 years. Learn more about how the Resource Center makes a positive difference in people's lives. From the Access Chautauqua Studios in Mayville, it's Chautauqua Sunrise. Chautauqua Sunrise is hosted by Doc Hamels and supported by the award-winning volunteers at Access Chautauqua. We are here to share local news, colorful interviews, and events of interest to everyone. Chautauqua Sunrise is broadcast live Saturday mornings each week from 9 to 10 a.m. Send events via email or call us live. Check us out on YouTube and Facebook. And now, from the Access Chautauqua Studios, it's Chautauqua Sunrise.
Morning, everybody. I'm Doc Hamels, and welcome to another episode or edition. I don't know what the term is. What is it called, Randy? Episode?
I call it a show.
Another show. All right. Keep it simple. Of Chautauqua Sunrise. Today we're setting a record for the amount of people I'm going to interview within the same hour. So it's going to be a really fun-filled, information-packed show. So please stick around. I want to say good morning to everybody around the world. We are streaming live. And good afternoon to my listeners on WRFA 107.9, Low Power to the People out of Jamestown, Tuesdays at 1 o'clock. Also, if you're rewatching the show or watching it again and again and again, of course you would. We're on Spectrum 1301 on 2 and at 8 o'clock every day here on Access Chautauqua. So you can catch us throughout the week. If you can't catch us through the week and you want to come back to the show, and I tell you this because it's important, because the stuff we're going to be talking about is pretty cool stuff today and important stuff. You can go to YouTube, and we're out there like forever and ever and ever. And so all the shows that we've done, and this is show 393, hard to believe. Randy had hair, I had dark hair at the time. I mean, we've grown old in our jobs. Anyways, welcome to the show, everybody. Whoa, it's 2 degrees out there, and I can't believe how cold it is. But it is January, so I suppose this is about the right time to have this kind of weather. Folks, being 2 degrees, just keep in mind, this is frostbite weather with the wind chill. If you got pets, bring them indoors if you can, or make sure they're warm somewhere outside and sheltered. Even if you're walking around with them, get those little paws taken care of. Make sure they're nice and toasty. Unless you're living under a rock, we're going to have a big snowstorm tomorrow, and so please get your vehicles filled, get your groceries in today, or whatever, because we could be holed up for a good 24 hours starting tomorrow night through Monday. They're talking anywhere from 8 to 16 inches of snow, depending on where we live, and I'm planning to stay home. Drive my wife crazy, but we're not going anywhere at this point. So anyways, so I hope you're doing well, and I'm going to go through some announcements here in a second. We're going to trim them way back because I want to spend as much time as I can with my guests. So let's get right to it. Jeff, here we go. This is from the Infinity Visual and Performing Arts Group. Okay, and we got a picture for that, I believe. Number 15. I'll just start talking and Jeff will pop that up. All right, they received 4 autographed Buffalo Bills jersey donations to begin the Lexi Hewen Memorial Fund, okay? And again, unless you live under a rock, this was just a tragic situation that I'm going to tell you about. Longtime Infinity student Alexis, or Lexi, was taken tragically from our community on New Year's Eve in a hit-and-run incident. Since then, the Jamestown community has come together in a number of ways to support Lexi's family and honor her memory. A new memorial fund has been created at the Infinity Center to help keep her spirit and love of the arts alive by providing new group classes at the Infinity Center. If Infinity offered it, Lexi participated in it. She was actively involved in music, theater, acting, dance, and art. She performed numerous times on Infinity's stages and in the community on piano, ukulele, vocals, and also participated in dance groups, bands, and musical theater opportunities. Infinity was first approached by local community member Missy Paternini to help begin Lexi's Memorial Fund. Missy said, after learning of the tragedy in my hometown and knowing both of Lexi's parents, I wanted to do something special. I reached out to a buddy, the owner of Ball Game Heroes in Jamestown, and he didn't hesitate to donate a Josh Allen jersey. I thought this was perfect since learning how much of a passion this young girl, at the age of only 15, had for Infinity Visual and Performing Arts and what they offer to area students. Her passions were that of an adult. I'm glad this fundraiser was created. I'm glad it's going to help a lot of area students. Ball Game Heroes donors of Josh Allen's jersey added the following: sometimes it unfortunately takes a tragedy to show how tight-knit a small town really can be. When we collectively come together, we can do a lot of good. Ball Game Heroes thoughts are with Lexi's family. And you know, I'll echo what this individual just said. I say this on my show all the time. Something comes up in our community, people rally around each other, and I am just so proud to be part of the Chautauqua community and family here. We'll begin as Josh Allen autographed jersey raffle soon turned into a much larger footprint than Infinity expected, with 3 additional autographed jerseys being donated by community members, Gib Taylor, Exceptional Stars athletes, and 1 donor who wished to remain anonymous. The lineup of Buffalo Bills jerseys now available for Infinity's Lexi Hewen's Memorial Fund raffle include Josh Allen, Zach Moss, Eric Molds, and Fred Jackson. Each jersey is autographed. Boy, 4 really great Buffalo Bills. Exceptional Stars Athletes Director Rich Bianco shared, on behalf of the kids of Exceptional Star Athletics, we are honored to help support Lexi's Memorial Fund. We feel that music and theater are incredibly valuable to our youth in today's society. It is apparent that music and theater were a huge part of Lexi's life, so we at ESA feel it is important that we can support that. Infinity's grant and marketing coordinator, Stephanie Rogers, says the following: Lexi was always one to help others, whether it was a new or younger student who needed encouragement or a peer that needed a friend. She made everyone feel welcome. That's really what this Memorial Fund will be for, creating more classes at the Infinity Center that Lexi would have enjoyed or wanted to see happen at Infinity. And of course, we'll instill those same values of kindness, friendship, encouragement, and confidence building that Lexi embodied in the classes as well. The executive director, Shane Hawkins, added, Lexi's mom, Sarah, is an instructor at Infinity and is also our site coordinator. She will help in the development of classes to ensure they capture Lexi's interest and the spirit behind her personality. We are honored to have been a small piece of her life during her time here with us. Okay, so raffle tickets are $20 and are available through January 26th at Ball Game Heroes in Jamestown, Sneakers Bar in Jamestown, the Infinity Center, and online at all one word, infinityperformingarts.org/shop. Winner need not be present to win. Winners will be drawn at Sneakers Bar on the January 27th, which would have been Alexis's 16th birthday. Wow. Okay, for more information, you can give them a call at 716-664-0991. Infinity is an awesome organization, and I actually know Lexi's mom and just great people, and so please support that effort if you can. All right, moving right along. Let's see, real quick. This comes out of the Mayville area, right where we sit. The Chautauqua County Partnership for Economic Growth are inviting local residents, business owners, and stakeholders to kick off the Mayville Strategic Waterfront Activation Effort. That's a mouthful. Basically, here's the summary. To initiate the Mayville Strategic Waterfront Activation Effort, the Economic Growth Group, the Village of Mayville, and Chautauqua Region Economic Development Corporation have launched a project website and 2 public engagement tools, a recreational demand survey and an interactive map. We encourage anyone with an interest in Mayville's waterfront to participate in the process. Hard copies of the survey will be available at the Village of Mayville's Village Office, the Town of Chautauqua Clerk's Office, the Mayville Library, Webb's, and the Chautauqua Bookstore. The survey interactive map will be open to the public until February 25th. All right, so check that out if you're interested. That's all the announcements I have for today, and I want to go right to my first group of guests today. You know, I said it's 2 degrees tomorrow. We're going to have a winter storm. What could be better than getting a hot cup of something, chocolate, coffee, whatever, hot tea, with a good book? And I know books are still around. And we're going to hear from some folks about a great place to visit called Genres in Westfield. And I want to welcome, ladies, back, 2 of you back, and Mary Ellen Humphrey is first time here with us. So we're going to start with Shannon Seachrist, and what's going on?
Okay, so about 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, we opened Genres. It was just supposed to be a pop-up shop, but we decided to stay open, and we have new and used books. We have local authors, and yeah, you're right. What better way to ride out the winter storm than with the book? So yeah, we are at the Y in Westfield, and they are spectacular landlords. And yeah, it's been fantastic. And
Now, when you say a pop-up shop, people may not know what's a pop-up shop.
well, it was just supposed to be open for a couple of months, actually.
Okay, so like a quick vendor or something like, see,
Yeah.
a farmer's market type thing, just.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Limited hours.
So you
and-
said the Y, we're talking the YWCA.
YWCA.
And
Yep.
where's that located?
58, I think, North Portage,
Okay.
in Westfield.
All right,
Oh, wait,
what?
South Portage.
South Portage.
Portage.
Go the other
Sorry.
way. That's okay, I'm directionally challenged myself.
Yes.
Okay, and so so you go to the Y, and how do
Yeah.
you get into Genres? Because I know it's kind of tricky.
I heard West.
Okay, it's all right. How to get into the building?
Well, you walk up, you pull into the parking lot, and there's a sign that's
Okay,
right
follow the
there
sign.
that will point it out.
Because I know you're in a different wing than like the
Yeah.
where they work out and
Exactly.
the meeting rooms and things.
Yes.
Okay, so who'd you bring with you today, Shannon?
I brought Mary Ellen Humphrey
Okay.
and Robin Albright.
Okay, so we're going to Robin, welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much.
We talked about your book.
Thank you for having us
Yeah.
again.
I've been enjoying reading it so far. I'm still reading. I read a book like I eat like pizza, a little at a time. I stretch it out.
Savor
the
every
book.
word. Good, good. I just discovered Genres Bookstore recently, maybe 6 months ago. It is the best kept secret in the area. It's a beautiful little shop. It's on a wing all of itself with its separate entrance off the parking lot. You walk in, and it's like walking, to me, it's like walking into Madame Pettifour's or Pettifoot's from Harry Potter. Mm-hmm. It's just the cutest little shop. Wallpapered walls. It just takes you back to a different time. And I can't believe the stock that she has there. It's donated books, and people donate bestsellers, current bestsellers, old classics, everything in between. And she has an amazing selection of local authors. I'm not sure how many you have there.
23.
23
23 local
authors.
authors. Holy mackerel.
Yeah. And all the proceeds from the used books go to pay the rent for this little shop. So we need people to come and buy books. It's just an amazing little store. It feels so comfortable just to walk in, and Shannon's always there with a smile and a giggle, and you could find just about anything you want.
So your book, Jump on the Running Board.
Jump
right?
on the running board.
That is there as well?
That's there at the store.
And now you're working on some other books, right?
I'm working on 2 different books right now. One is a book of poetry that I'm doing in cooperation with Mary Ellen and my brother David Hawker. And we're going to publish a book of poetry from the 3 of us. I'm also working on a book of all the columns that I wrote for the Westfield Republican and the Dunkirk Observer over the years. My daughter said, well, why don't you put those in a book? That way she'd read it. She won't read the newspaper columns.
Of course not.
She's never read a single column of mine, but she'll read it if I put it in book form.
Okay, great.
So I'm doing that as well.
Okay. Pass the mic back to Shannon. I have a question for her, if I may. Okay,
Yes.
so genre, that's a French term. What does it mean?
I don't know.
Well,
it's-
music, genre means country, folk, rock.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly. That's what it means.
It's
Exactly.
what genre are you? It's what classification, correct?
Classification,
So
yes.
I know you're a writer.
Yes.
Because I had you here for your 50th book.
Yes, you
So
did.
what's your genre?
Fantasy.
Fantasy.
Always fantasy.
Robin, what's your genre?
I don't really have one yet.
Well, make one up.
Biography, nonfiction,
There you go.
memoir.
Okay. So let's hear from Mary Ellen now. So what brings you here today?
Well, these 2 nice ladies brought me here today. And
Get in the car.
excuse me, Robin introduced me to this bookstore.
Okay.
And I have to say, it's a wonderful outing. Go there, and you'll not only see all these wonderful books you can get at a bargain price, but you'll see all of these local authors. And I personally, excuse me, like to support local authors. Some of the ways that you can do that is not just simply buying their book and reading it, but writing a review for them. And so I would encourage you to come in and see the books, try something you're not used to. We all write different kinds of books, and then write something about that so we can promote this bookstore and the local authors as well.
Okay, I just saw the title of your book was My Mountain Friend. What's your genre?
Excuse me, I have written a number of books, all different kinds of genres, nonfiction, speculative fiction. This happens to be a memoir. I hiked a mountain in the state where I used to live over 1,000 times to the summit. And I thought, well, what's different about hiking different mountains or hiking the same one over and over? And I'm a little directionally challenged, so I like the same
I guess
path.
we all are here. Well,
And so it's a book that explores my experience and what I learned about myself and about nature. It's really about appreciating.
and your book is available there as well?
Yes, it's
Are
there.
books or
A number of my books are there.
Very
Yeah.
nice. All
So really, this is it should not be a secret. Shannon is doing a wonderful thing for local authors. And how many bookstores do we have? We need to support them, and we need to support the
have none
activities. Yeah.
Other than us.
Yeah, and so I was so excited when Robin dragged me over there and said,
Okay.
let's go see this bookstore.
Okay, Robin, let's wrap things up here. What would you like to say?
I just want to say Shannon did this by herself, and she continues to do it by herself. Well, pretty much every time we walk in, it's Shannon. It's
Okay.
nobody else.
Super.
So she also needs volunteers. If anybody wants to volunteer some hours. No?
Nah, we're good.
Okay, she's good. She's good.
Okay.
It's a fabulous little store. I highly recommend it.
Shannon, one more time, the address. Let's see if we get it, or where we're located.
At the YWCA in Westfield, New York, it's 58 South Portage.
Okay.
And yeah, we're open Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday from noon to 6, and Saturday from 9 to 5.
Excellent.
Except today, because I'm here.
Yes, you are. And is there a phone number? Probably not.
No.
Not yet.
I prefer not to have my cell phone.
Okay.
out
All right.
there.
Well, ladies, good luck to you. And folks, if you have a need for a book and you want to support local writers and so forth, this is an opportunity. We're going to take a little break, and we're going to be right back with my other guests who are waiting anxiously in the wings. So stay tuned. Thank you.
Thank you.
that okay?
That was good.
Good?
Yeah,
Okay.
is it good for you?
Yeah, it was good for you, it was good for me.
Why should young people care about the spread of coronavirus? Well, people with underlying medical conditions over the age of 60 are at highest risk, but they've got to get it from somebody.
So we're asking everyone to be selfless for others so that we can protect those who are most susceptible.
Not going to bars, not going to restaurants. It all just means physical separation so that you have a space between you and others.
For more information on how you can social distance, please go to coronavirus.gov.
I've been talking about a particular conference from time to time that has been coming up. And this isn't a particular topic that I've been personally interested in, having known folks with dementia and Alzheimer's and Lewy body dementia and so forth. And there's a special conference coming up that you need to know about and share with others that may be interested in attending, because I'm going to tell you right now, this could possibly be life-saving and also could just be a wonderful experience for somebody that deals with somebody that has dementia. And we're going to start out with some introductions real quick. Today we got Stephanie Stevens, who's the executive director of the YWCA. We got Mike Harrington from the Westfield-Mayville Rotary Club. My buddy, Dr. Mary Ann Spanos, who's the executive director of the Office for Aging Services of Chautauqua County. And we got Claire Corwin, it was on the tip of my tongue, and you're with the Alzheimer's, Western New York Alzheimer's Association.
Yes, that's exactly it.
All right, I got it, because I never remember, I got all the words in there now. You guys got a lot of titles here. So we're going to start with Stephanie. So tell us all about the conference and how this all got started.
Well, sure. So just a little bit about YWCA Westfield, in case you didn't know. We've been in Westfield for 126 years. So
you don't look that old.
I know, right? Lots of Botox, right? And we're part of a national organization, YWCA USA, which has been around for 160 years. So we've been there for the majority of the time. We have over 200 organizations throughout the U.S. I'm also the president of the YWCAs of New York State, and we make we make up 10% of the network. There's 19 YWCAs throughout New York State. So it's not just, the little Y in Westfield on 58 South Portage.
We did get that out there a couple times, didn't we?
Yes, yeah. So, we do a lot more than just fitness and Airbnbs. Our mission is to end racism, empower women, and to help strengthen our communities. And with that said, that's when we decided that during this pandemic, it was time for us to step up and see what's needed out there. And what was needed was our elderly needed care. A lot of the millennials that were home and a lot of the people who work from home were the ones that were taking on that burden with no training or anything. So that's when Michael came to me from Westfield-Mayville Rotary and had a grant available, and we've been talking about this for a good year, trying to do the best possible for our community. So I'll let Michael talk about the grant.
Hey, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Okay. When you say caretaker, millennials are caretakers, what do you mean by that?
Well, it seems like they're the ones that are, home with grandma, home with Aunt Helen. They are the ones that are taking care of them. I know we had adult day services in our building, and they had to close during the pandemic. So somebody has to take on that responsibility. And it was a lot of the millennials who were home. They work from home, and they were able to do that. So this conference will help train and educate people on how to best take care of people with Alzheimer's, with dementia, and just take care of them in general.
Right. And I think being a caretaker and you have some tools in your tool bag, you feel a lot more confident. I know a lot of times should I do it this way? Should I do it that way? I don't know what to do here and that. So this sounds really good.
It is, and especially with the early onset of dementia and Alzheimer's, I don't think you realize exactly when it's happening and how it's starting. And I think the signs, if you're prepared and you can see the signs, it's a lot easier on you, and it's a lot easier on the person you're taking care of as well.
We're going to get back to those signs because we have somebody here that I think is our expert on what to look for, but we'll get to that in a little bit.
Yes.
All right, Mike Harrington, the Westfield-Mayville Rotary Club. So you had a grant. Where did this come from? What's that all about?
Well, the Rotary International provides a lot of grant resources and whatnot, and Rotary District 7090, which our club is part of, it's an one of the few international districts throughout the globe.
Yeah.
There are 70 clubs, a little bit more than 70 clubs in our district.
Okay. And it's Canada and the USA, right?
Canada, yes.
Western New York,
Western New York and the Ontario province. Rotary International has somewhere around 1.4 million members, over 46,000 clubs. And we're part of a district that has a little over 70. The Westfield-Mayville Rotary Club has been in existence since 1929. So we're nearing 100 years, not as much as the Y.
Getting there.
But over the many years, we've been providing financial support for various organizations and initiatives. One of the things that we've been able to do consistently is provide scholarships for seniors, graduating from some of the local schools. The schools within our service area are Westfield, Brockton, Sherman, and then Ripley and Mayville together in Chautauqua Lake.
Right.
And we also have 2 Rotary Interact clubs, if I got that right, Brockton and Chautauqua Lake.
And what's Interact?
That are Rotary Interact. That's with the younger high school kids. Rotaract, which we don't have one that we're sponsoring at the moment. That's more so college kids. I shouldn't say college kids, college adults.
You never know.
Yeah, but we've done various grants, district grants, in the past, both domestically as well as internationally. A couple of them were like water wells over in Africa, and a number of really nice grants here locally. Today we're here to talk about another local grant. It's been over a year in the grant application and approval process to get to this point in time. It was approved in August of last year, and at that point in time the YWCA Westfield was named the beneficiary organization, so we could focus on the Y, and then the Y could help expand the group in a little bit.
All right, so if I understand this correctly, your club, the Westfield-Mayville Rotary Club, filed or put in a grant, and it's working with the YWCA.
Yeah, our primary interface is with Stephanie at the Y.
Okay. I'm just helping folks understand as well as myself. Okay.
And since that time, Stephanie and myself, Stephanie being a big driver behind this, obviously, we've expanded I call it our working group, our grant working group. Now includes, of course, the Y, the Chautauqua County Office for Aging Services, and the Western New York Alzheimer'S Association, all of which are represented here, plus the Chautauqua Safety Village that will be providing the first aid training component that will be in the afternoon of this full-day conference. And that will follow, I'm certain, what's going to be a really phenomenal morning program.
Okay, right now, here and now, let's capsulize where the ingredients of what the conference is. Because we're talking about things in general, but when is it? How much does it cost? Where is it going to be held? How do you get signed up? And we'll come back to it by the end of the show.
You want to take that one?
Sure. It's February 5th
Okay.
at the Williams Center at Fredonia State. Starts at 9 a.m., goes till 4:30. The first half of the day will be the Office of the Aging and the Alzheimer's Association. We will provide lunch, so that's always good. So you don't have to starve all day, and
Wow.
you don't have to worry about going out in the cold.
How
and
much
getting
is
your
this going to
lunch.
cost people?
This is free.
This is a free
This is
conference?
a free conference.
This is outstanding.
Yes, it is because of the grant
Yeah.
that we received as well as the Office of the Aging and the Alzheimer's Association have pitched in, and the Safety Village to help promote this. It was really nice that, you know, we reached out and asked everyone to partner with us, and nobody even hesitated. They jumped right in, and you know, we've got everybody, I can take care of this and I can offer this, and everyone's really excited to get this going.
Wonderful. All right, so how do they register?
They can go online to ywcawestfield.org/conference.
Okay.
And they can sign up that way. They can also call the Y between 9 and 12, Monday through Friday, at 716-326-2011. If they want to call after, they can. They just have to leave a message, and we'll get back to them the next day.
And what's the limit on this as far as registration?
It's 24, and we've got, I think, 7 right now.
I checked this morning, we have 10.
We have 10.
All right, so you got some more room to grow here yet.
But don't let that stop you from signing up, because we will be taking names just in case somebody calls and cancels and can't come. Yeah, and we also have a snow date too, which is the following Saturday.
All right, so it's free of charge, and it's for anybody, or is there a target group here?
In the beginning, we were thinking millennials, but the more that we got the word out, the more people that contacted us and said, look, I'm 45 and I really want to be part of this. I take care of my grandmother at home, and we said, you know what, we really need to extend this, and we need to make it for everybody, because that's truly helping our community.
This could be somebody that has a spouse that has Alzheimer's?
Yes, absolutely.
Or grandchildren, anybody, right?
Anybody, yes, it can be anybody. Right now we've got registered a 17-year-old right up into 50, right?
66.
66. So we've got a wide range, and it's really for everybody. And we'll have first aid and CPR that's included in it, so you'll be certified in that when you leave for the day.
First aid and CPR part of the project?
Yes.
It's first aid, CPR, and AED use.
And this is specifically for folks with dementia, or is it just in general?
No, it's a full American Heart Association 2-year certification type of course.
Okay.
Yes, there will be some focus provided on the elderly.
Okay.
But there are really 2 paths, is what I was told by the executive director of the Safety Village. And the path that we'll be taking is one that will provide some focus on the elderly.
Okay.
And that'll provide people that, caregivers, that they'll have a better insight as to what might be going on with somebody that they're watching. Is all of a sudden, is there a stroke onset? You know, are they sweating in a cool environment? Are they suddenly confused? And of course, you know, other types of, you know, emergencies or whatnot.
Let's bring Claire on. What do you say? I got some questions for you, Claire. So these folks are talking about dementia and so forth, and I'm a dementia friend. I did the training online. I got my certificate out in the other room. And they're talking about the signs and so forth. So what's your role with the Alzheimer's group?
So my role is, I wear a bunch of hats, but my official role is the community outreach specialist, but I do all kinds of things. So I do care consulting with people who maybe come to the chapter and they say, you know, what are the signs and symptoms of Alzheimer's? So I can sit down with you, your whole family, and say, listen, this is what we're looking at. You are telling me, in this case, maybe we're seeing some early signs, so maybe it's time to make that doctor's appointment and go to the neurologist, see what we can see.
So you're not diagnosing, you're just pointing them in a direction?
I am certainly not a doctor, so I can't diagnose. I can say, hey, listen, you know, if you see a couple of these signs, there might be something else going on. I always suggest, if you're concerned to the point that you're talking to me, it's also time to go to your doctor.
So what would be some signs?
So the biggest signs that I typically see in people and that we tell people are, of course, forgetfulness. If I start repeating things, if I'm misplacing something, if what you're writing with suddenly isn't a pen anymore, you can't think of the word and it's just on the tip of your tongue. A lot of the times people say, oh, well, I can't remember your name. That's pretty normal. If I can't remember the word for something, that's pretty normal. But if we're doing it consistently, that forgetfulness that impacts daily life, behavioral changes are a big part of things for people, because if you think about it, I'm forgetting things, I'm already frustrated internally, and all of a sudden I'm losing this ability to control my social filter. So what might be something that's mildly irritating for you is taking a lot more energy from me as someone with early signs of Alzheimer's or dementia. So my body has to work a little bit harder, I'm exhausted, my brain is trying to connect these pathways. So behaviorally, I'm presenting a symptom in that, maybe I'm more irritated. Maybe I am having a tough time figuring things out, and that's really impacting my daily life, which is making me less of maybe who I was before, whereas I'm a very quiet, soft-spoken person. Now all of a sudden I'm saying, oh, well, this is just ridiculous. Maybe I'm acting out a bit more. So those are the biggest signs that we see in people, and then a little bit down the road, we've got maybe some impaired decision-making, especially with driving. If you're concerned about a loved one, very important to check over the car every once in a while. If we see any, certainly I've hit my fair share of snowplow poles, but if we see any more dings, if there is a sudden increase in tickets, if we're driving and, I pull out on the highway going 35, that's probably not the safest decision. You've got to make sure that you're practicing safe rules of the road, and for someone who has impaired decision making and is struggling to operate a vehicle safely, one of the best things you can do is keep an eye on them that way.
Okay, so you really come from a social model where you're working with the family and their surroundings.
Mm-hmm.
So without going into great detail, what causes dementia and Alzheimer's and those things?
Well, that's an excellent question.
Thank you.
Dementia.
That's what I do.
Oh, yeah.
Here. Ask questions. That's all I do is ask questions.
It's an excellent question, and I'm glad you asked it, because a lot of people have this question and they think that they're the same thing. So Alzheimer's is a type of dementia. Dementia can be caused by a myriad of different things. So like you said before, we were talking about recognizing a stroke. You can have vascular dementia from an onset of loss of blood flow to the brain. Then there's Alzheimer's, which is hallmarked by plaques and tangles in the brain. We actually don't know why these develop. So importance of research, which is a big part of what the Alzheimer's Association does nationally. Up in Buffalo, we have a Center for Excellence on Alzheimer's Disease and Research. So we have programs around, but a big part of what we do and fund privately is research. So we don't know why a lot of these things occur. There's something, you had mentioned Lewy body dementia before. That's specifically brought on by a presence of a certain protein in the brain.
Coats the nerve endings and so forth.
Yep, so it makes it essentially really hard for our brains to get from point A to point B, in layman's terms. Right?
Wow. Well, thank you for that. That's quite a quick synopsis of things. So the question I have, and then we'll move to Mary Ann, is what's the incidence of Alzheimer's, dementia in the United States or in the world? I mean, it's a growing issue, I think, right?
Absolutely.
Or is it just now being diagnosed? A lot of times it's always been here and now we recognize it, or is it growing? I mean, can you answer that question?
So another excellent question, and the answer is both. So what we're finding now with the advances in science that we're making, we're able to diagnose things much more easily through brain imaging. We're able to say, okay, there is a presence of these plaques and tangles in the brain. I know for a fact that this is Alzheimer's disease. But we're also finally recognizing that this is a disease. It's not a normal part of aging. So where there's more awareness, which is a big part of what we do, what the Office for the Aging does, in saying, okay, well, Aunt Sally isn't, just going senile. Senility is not a thing. Alzheimer's disease is a disease. Dementia is something that impacts our daily life. It's not a normal part of aging.
Whew. Mary Ann Spanos, good morning.
Good morning.
So what's your role in all this?
Well, the Office for the Aging is the advocacy agency for people over 60 years of age. We provide programs and services, and for the last 5 years, we have been the recipient of a grant very specific to helping caregivers of Alzheimer's and dementia in collaboration with the Alzheimer's Association of Western New York and the other 8 counties of Western New York. Wow. So we've always served caregivers. But this gave us a few more tools in our toolbox to help those with Alzheimer's and dementia. It's so important for us. We talk to people about growing older. Where do they want to be? And nobody raises their hand that they want to end their life in a nursing home. And certainly this pandemic brought about, awareness that that's probably not the safest place to be. So people want to be home, and we want them in the community for as long as possible. And so we need to be able to be sensitive to those problems that may impair their ability to think and react appropriately. When you were asking about, is this, more frequent, it is Alzheimer's and dementia are diseases of older people. One reason is that they feel that many chronic conditions can contribute or bring on these diseases. So if you have diabetes, okay, which talks about, when you're
Which
not...
is rampant right
It's
now.
rampant, and it's all about processing food and getting food and nutrition to your cells. Well, if you don't control your diabetes, then your brain is not getting the food that it needs to function. And so over time, people let their diabetes go. This can certainly affect your brain and thinking. And there are other chronic diseases like high blood pressure. You don't control your high blood pressure, it can lead over time to weakening vessels and bleeds in the brain. It can lead to strokes. Well, that can also impair, depending on where the strokes occur in your brain, impair your thinking. So chronic conditions that are not well controlled can lead to dementia. Yeah.
You mentioned vascular. So somebody has a stroke, triggers something. Diabetes out of control triggers something. How about smoking and alcohol? Is there any connection there? Good question. I know. I just saw you both look at me.
Certainly, because those lead to cardiac problems. They lead
So they're
to
like the beginning,
right,
which causes the issues, that causes the issues, that causes the issues.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
What I like to tell people is if it's good for your body, it's good for your brain. I don't know if you guys know this, but your brain is in your body. So what's good for my heart, a little bit more cardio, is going to, at the end of the day, be better for my brain. I think it's 25% of the blood that your heart pumps, in every pump, 25% of that goes straight to your brain. So we want to keep those pathways open and healthy and make sure that I'm protecting myself from all of these chronic conditions.
We are what we eat.
Exactly. And I'm not telling you can't have a Whopper every once in a while. You can, but you want to make conscious, healthy decisions.
I'm laughing because now I've got to the point where I look at how many calories are in those fast food sandwiches and go like, what are you kidding me? That's my whole meal for all my calorie intake for the day, this little thing.
Yeah.
Okay, the rest of you have been sitting quietly, so let's jump around wherever you want to go.
Well, I have a couple of things I'd like to add.
Yeah, please, go ahead.
The grant started out focused and targeted on a particular age group, and its first title was somewhat structured. It was First Aid and Elder Care Awareness Training for Young Adults and Millennials. Fortunately, through discovery, we found out that we should no longer target it. We should open it up. And the district grant chairperson was fully supportive of that. And then this very lively working group the excitement level was just phenomenal on all of our Zoom calls.
Yeah.
Is it nice to finally meet people in
Yes.
person?
Yeah,
Really
this has
is.
really been
You're taller than I thought you were.
targeted. Yeah, they wanted to change it so it was a little bit more marketable type of title or whatever, and it ended up being Life Interrupted Conference, Dementia Education for Caregivers. And when you say life interrupted, how true that is. Life is interrupted for those that are afflicted with dementia and Alzheimer's. And unfortunately, caregivers, particularly those that are family members, and it's difficult for CNAs, certified home health care workers and all that, but for family members, their life is interrupted as well. And for the younger set, like 20s and 30s, it can impact how much time they can actually focus on, raising kids, their careers. For some, might even prevent them from going into higher education and whatnot. And there's a chain reaction as relates to the economics and the whole bit. Some of the research I did showed that like 1 out of 4 caregivers were within this, what previously was the targeted age group. And I read some studies. It was Norway, Sweden, and Japan, and of course the United States. And it's quite the, let's say it's a pandemic of a different mode. And it was like a cry out there. We've got to do something to help. And there was a Cornell research paper that I also read that Chautauqua County's population is in general decline, but the average age group is increasing.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So when you think about the probability of Alzheimer's and dementia, that probability, or the actual number, the percentage,
Right.
is going to increase rather dramatically. And that leaves caregivers kind of in, families, kind of in a gap, a huge gap. They need support.
Well, let me jump to these ladies. So if I understand from the discussions Mike and I have had prior to the show, there's never been anything like this conference before? For the most part?
No, we have not had this in Chautauqua County. I mean, there are particular trainings once we identify people on how to manage and care for somebody who has Alzheimer's and dementia. But like Mike said, I really love the name of it, Life Interrupted, because nobody sets out to be a caregiver. It's something that comes on very slowly. Like the disease comes on slowly, you might not even know. So part of this whole process is to make people more aware of what the early stages look like and how they can help instead of being frustrated by the situation. That will be better for the person they're trying to care for and also help them feel secure in what they're doing and how they're interacting with the person who has dementia.
I'm going to throw this question to both of you and answer it any way you want. So if I participate in this conference on February 5 at the Williams Center, see how I did that?
Room
In Vernonia, from 9 to 4:30. What tools will I leave with? What will I have that I didn't have probably before I walked in the door?
So
That was an excellent question.
all of your questions, excellent. I'm really excited about this. So one of my roles is to do community education, but the way that we're doing this conference is not only are we introducing Dementia Friendly USA with the Office for the Aging, but we're bringing in tips and tricks for communication and how to respond to common behaviors. So you're going to hear a lot of me talking, but don't worry, because I love Q&A too. So we can go through different things, but one of the unique things about the conference is the Alzheimer's Association up in Western New York has a really excellent volunteer who actually is living with the early stages of Alzheimer's disease.
Oh, wow.
And he's coming there, he's going to be at the conference, and he's going to talk to us about what it's like from the person living with the disease perspective. So he's going to tell us, how he functions, what he prefers, what has been really helpful for him in supporting him from the family side. His wife is very involved in caregiving, and how their dynamic has changed, because let's face it, relationships change as you progress, as you start to care for somebody. So not only are we offering these communication tools, these reactionary behavior tools, but we're offering a different perspective that I think a lot of people, it takes a while to understand and accept. So to see someone living so successfully in their community can be really inspiring as well.
I'm sitting here and I'm going back in my memory right now because I know personally two people that are dealing with dementia.
Mm-hmm.
The first person didn't know they had it, and it was a slow onset, and everybody was trying to figure out what is going on with this person. And it gradually has gotten more progressive. The second person, I was just sitting down, just like we're here. The person just looked at me and goes, "By the way, I want you to know that I was diagnosed with dementia."
Wow.
And I just sort of sat there and I go, "Oh, okay. And what does that mean?" Because I interview everybody. So we started talking about that, and it was a lot what you were saying, the confusion, the dings in the cars. But the thing that stands out right now is, to me, is how many times when we were younger, before this was all brought to the public as much as it is. That's my old crazy Aunt Susie. That's that ornery old Dr. John. He's got plugged arteries. I mean, we came up with all these knucklehead terms, that people were using, or he's just crazy. horrible, horrible, because we just wrote people off.
Not very nice.
Not very nice. And we did this with mental retardation. We did this with, all the other syndromes that people have to deal with in life. So you took me down a little memory lane there. That was kind of interesting.
I just want to chime in about something that you brought up, is that, we are really not set up in our society to be sensitive to people with Alzheimer's or dementia. Not just people one-on-one, but also our systems. Our systems expect that you can remember to pay your taxes. I mean, I had helped a gentleman who almost lost his home to foreclosure a few years ago, who was in the midst of dementia. He didn't forget to pay his taxes for 45 years, and all of a sudden he was going to lose his home to foreclosure. And it was hard. He didn't certainly see that, but it was very hard for even, government agencies to see that this, we should step out for this, because this is not normal.
Cut these people some slack here too.
But our systems are not ready for that. And so bringing awareness through conferences like this is so essential, not only for the young people, but for our whole community.
This sounds like a stepping stone for more.
Even I think during the pandemic too, it was, they're alone in their home for 2 years, a year to 2 years, and it's, people even just calling in if they knew the right questions to ask, calling and or dropping off food to them, knowing, what's going to provide the healthiest meal for their brain, and that kind of thing. I think that during the pandemic we all realized that something needs to be done. Michael and I have discussed this being a pilot program where we do this conference for one day this year, and then maybe we can carry this to other parts of the state, other parts of the world, and carry it into something that's expected, and this is where you go for help. So we'd like that to be one of our goals and one of our dreams that we've been talking about.
Yes. Yeah, the district grant chairperson has repeatedly called this grant project a pilot. And she equated it to a pilot. It wasn't the same type of program, but was conducted up in the Ontario province. Last year, they had all kinds of problems because of the pandemic and all bit. But it finally was successful. And this year, the entire province of Ontario has adopted it. So it's larger, it's self-sustaining, in the whole bit, and who knows, maybe we can do the same thing here. Potential of going for a global grant as opposed to a district grant. But those, let's get through this one, and let's look at it, in retrospect.
So we need bodies to sign up. We need people.
Yes,
to sign
yes,
up.
yep. We need
About 14 more.
Yep, need 14 more bodies, and
right.
and I create a waiting list too.
All right, put the camera on me. Watch this. All right, those of you who are watching me, listening to me right now, this is important what we're talking about. If you know somebody that is dealing with dementia, has Alzheimer's, Lewy body dementia, anything along those lines, you need to think about attending this conference. If you are a neighbor, a friend, you can attend, right?
Absolutely.
Because we are all taking care of each other in our community. We all are interconnected. So please, I really encourage you to think about this and sign up. What's the deadline on this?
January 30.
All right, so coming up. So we talk about other things here on the show, but this one's near and dear to my heart. And if I wasn't on the TV, I probably would be there. But folks, think about this. One more time, how do they get registered? We're going to go back on the third time, so this is the second time I'm going to bring it up.
That's okay. It's ywcawestfield.org/conference, or just go to ywcawestfield.org and you'll find it. You can call the YWCA in Westfield, 326-2011, and anybody can help you too.
Okay, thank you. We're talking about tips and tricks and knowing the signs. What other tools are we going to come away with from this conference? The first aid, right?
Yeah, first aid CPR.
So AED was mentioned. What's an AED? It's a gizmo that you take off the wall and you
Yeah,
Stick it on.
something
Auto-
device.
electrical. What's it called?
Yeah.
I used to know this.
Auto electrical defibrillator.
There you go.
Right?
I think
Yeah,
it's something.
I think you- I think
it's a
you're right.
defibrillator, anyway.
Close
We
enough.
have one on the wall in the fitness center at the Y,
Right.
and it's nice because it's a person who tells you, okay, clean the area with alcohol. Okay, put the sticky on, and so the AD is easy enough, but in a time of struggle, you want this training so okay, they're going to tell me this is what I need to do. So the training will provide you with everything you could need. You're going to take home information. We've got lots of goodies, snacks, and we will also be following all COVID policy procedures. Everything we need will be disinfecting everything before, disinfecting after. You will have to wear a mask until you sit down. So we will be safe in that
That's
way
good
too.
to know. I'm glad you brought that up because I know that's a concern.
Absolutely.
I can't believe here we are almost 2 years into this thing and we're still talking about it.
The room is nice and big too, and if it gets to the point where we think that it's not big enough, Fraternity State has offered to open us up into another room as well. So it'll be a bigger room and a bigger space. So we will keep everybody safe.
Okay. If people just want general information about Alzheimer's, how do they find out? Just say, I'm not a conference person. I don't do conferences.
That's fair.
So let's give them some help there. How else can they get hold of
So
it?
certainly they can, if they enjoy surfing the web, they can go to alz.org. That's our association website. There's tons of information on specific topics, maybe just general information about Alzheimer's. They can always give our local office in Buffalo a call. I would love to speak to people, and we love to field those calls all day long.
And that number is?
716-060 or 716-626-0600. There's a lot of zeros and a lot of sixes. So 716-626-0600. And then if you're calling after hours, because I'll pick up the phone till I'm done with work. If you're calling at 4:30 in the morning, maybe call our 24/7 helpline, because they'll answer. I won't. And that number is 1-800-272-3900. That's staffed with master-level clinicians and dementia care specialists who can answer the simplest of questions or can talk with you if you're having a bad day and really
You're talking
frustrated.
about a warm-body person's going to answer that phone?
Warm-body person.
24/7. We give this out to all of our caregivers. It's such an important thing because things don't happen on a 9-to-5 schedule. They happen on the weekends, they happen in the evening, they happen in the middle of the night when that person with dementia, it's not unusual that they will mix up their hours and be up all night. And it's very distressing for the person who's caring for them. So this 24/7 helpline
Excellent.
is so important. And you have our number, so because we're such close partners with the Alzheimer's Association, we give out their number and the 24/7 helpline at any time. People can call New York Connects to find out what programs and services are available to them in Chautauqua County.
And there's New York next, 753-4582. All right, we're down to about a minute, so we're going to go really quick. Why should they go to the conference? Steph?
To get education and to just get knowledge on how to take care of anybody you're taking care of in your life right
Michael?
now.
This is a phenomenal opportunity for community caregivers. Don't miss it.
Claire?
You gain some perspective and some compassion on the person that you're dealing with. It's frustrating for us as caregivers, but it's frustrating for them too.
Mary Ann?
People are being diagnosed every day with Alzheimer's and dementia, 1 in 3 over the age of 85. And as we're seeing people live to their hundreds, this is going to be something that touches all of us. And we want you to know more about it so that you can respond appropriately to your loved one, help your loved one, or even help that person in the community that's coming to your business, that's coming to your medical practice, that's coming to, is interacting with you in the community. They are not crazy Aunt Jane.
Right.
They are somebody that's in need of assistance. How can you help them? You're going to find out at this conference.
And the key word I'm taking away today is compassion. Thank you for that, Claire. Folks, heavy topic, but it's going to touch all of our lives if it hasn't already. Conference is February 5. Give them a call at 326-2011 or go to the YWCA website and register. And you can watch this show again if you forgot what all these phone numbers are. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining me today, and thanks for all that you do for all of us. We're going to do this again next Saturday, so take care and stay warm. Seriously, it's cold out there. Bye now. And go Bills!